Hey everyone, I'm Andy and welcome to the AI Breakdown. Today we're diving into a fascinating topic. Is AI making us smarter, or are we slowly outsourcing our thinking to machines? We've got some eye-opening stories and research to unpack, so stick around and let's get into it. Let's kick off with a story that made headlines last year, and not in the good kind of way. It's that infamous Air Canada chatbot disaster, where a grieving customer promised bereavement fares by the airline's bot, acted on the advice only to be denied a refund, and told, essentially, the bot got it wrong, sorry. But the courts didn't buy that. Air Canada was held responsible, got clobbered in the media, and learned the hard way that blaming the robot is not a get-out-of-jail-free card. Now, I've got no problem with tech making mistakes. Some level of quality issues is expected, especially in this new AI era. What I do take issue with is when leadership dodges accountability. In situations like this, they should step up, do the right thing, and then treat it as a learning moment. Which begs the question, when things go wrong, who's actually responsible? The algorithm or the humans behind it? Now, this isn't just a one-off. In workplaces everywhere, AI is quietly revolutionizing how we work. It drafts our emails, decides what matters in monstrous reports, and even recommends who gets hired or fired. The pace is breathtaking, and the efficiency gains are impressive. But are we on the path to new heights, or are we, bit by bit, outsourcing so much of our thinking that our own critical faculties are quietly eroding? Is AI making us dumber? The science is beginning to suggest it could be. The landmark 2025 UK study by Gerlich and team found a strong negative correlation between frequent AI tool use and critical thinking ability, especially among younger professionals. In other words, the more often you rely on AI, the worse you do on tasks that demand independent judgment, complex reasoning, or actually questioning information instead of accepting it at face value. The study's key finding revolves around something called cognitive offloading. That's when we hand off mental effort to a machine instead of flexing the mental muscles ourselves. It's not entirely new. Hands up who remembers when calculators were classed as cheating. But today's AI isn't just solving sums, it's suggesting ideas, making recommendations, even weighing in on decisions that used to be the sole domain of humans. And the temptation to just go with the flow grows every time the tech gets better. It's a concern I hear frequently from our customers. What does this actually look like in the workplace? The researchers interviewed workers who openly admitted letting the AI do the thinking. Some acknowledge they check the output less and fear their own skills are getting rusty. Critically, younger digital natives, those who've grown up steeped in tech, are most vulnerable, while more experienced or better trained people tend to spot problems, ask more questions, and keep themselves sharp. The effect isn't a one-off either. Wharton and Microsoft researchers found what they call automation complacency. The more we accept AI output without double-checking, the less likely we are to spot errors. Case after case, when humans get used to trusting the machine, our accountability fades. Have you ever just gone with an AI-generated answer because it was quick and easy? Can you remember the last time you double-checked the recommendations, or are you just hitting accept and moving on? But with all that said, when we use AI deliberately with active oversight, it can turbocharge what you get done. The evidence is undeniable. Strategic AI implementation delivers significant time savings. Research from Salesforce, Slack, and BCG and MIT shows workers spend less time on administrative tasks and more on meaningful work, with consultants seeing a 40% productivity boost on well-defined projects. A trial over here in the UK with 20,000 civil servants using Microsoft 365 Copilot found AI tools saved 26 minutes daily on routine tasks, while a global workforce survey by a Deco Group across 27 countries revealed employees using AI saved an average hour per day, with tech, finance, energy, and manufacturing sectors seeing even greater benefits. The magic comes when we use that time differently. Instead of burning hours on basic tasks, AI gives us headroom to dig into analysis, chase creative solutions, and build relationships. The things only humans can do. And it's not just about giving bosses more time to strategize. OECD reviews show some juniors are climbing the career ladder faster because the dull work gets automated, freeing up opportunities for skills that actually matter. The sweet spot: human-AI teamwork, a centaur model, where humans do the critical work and AI handles the drudge. The key is to ask yourself, are you using those saved hours for deep work or just letting the treadmill run faster? Turns out it's not always that simple. Recent research into AI-assisted coding paints a more complicated picture. A study from MIT found that while developers expected productivity boosts from AI, they often hit unexpected slowdowns, waiting for the AI to generate suggestions. During those lulls, many drifted into distractions, checking social media, browsing unrelated sites, and breaking their flow. What was meant to save time ended up fragmenting their focus, making it harder to get back into deep work. The issue here isn't AI, it's us. AI can be a brilliant wingman for deeper thinking, but only if we're using it with purpose, not just on autopilot. The time it frees up is a gift. Don't waste it doom scrolling or chasing distractions. Let's run through a few stories of what happens when we let AI make too many calls unchecked. We've already talked about the Air Canada chatbot fiasco, but it's not just airlines. One of the most eye-opening examples happened at The Guardian, where a freelance journalist submitted recent book recommendations that included several completely fictional books and authors. They were generated by ChatGPT and published without verification. The Guardian had to quietly edit the piece after readers mocked the error on social media. This wasn't an isolated incident either. Similar cases have popped up where writers used AI to recommend non-existent books, and editors failed to catch these phantom publications before they went to press. Now let's look at startups. Bench Accounting, once a rising star in fintech, went all in on automating bookkeeping with AI. When the system hit problems real humans didn't catch, the whole business imploded practically overnight. Zillow, an online real estate marketplace, lost $500 million mispricing homes using automated models, and even HR tech like Workday has landed in court for algorithmic bias. And adding insult to injury, New York City government rolled out an AI-powered chatbot to help business owners. It ended up dispensing illegal and sometimes dangerous advice. The lack of human cross-check meant genuine risk to people and reputations. The theme: gaps in accountability, blind faith in AI as the all-knowing oracle, and failures that could have been avoided if someone had simply paused to ask, wait, does this actually make sense? So we know relying on AI too much can go wrong, but swinging too far the other way means missing out on significant productivity gains. The key here is balance, and both research and industry frameworks point to the same conclusion. We need human oversight. What this means is that for important or risky decisions, humans must carefully validate what the machine suggests. In technical terms, this is called HITL, human in the loop. It's essentially the digital equivalent of trust but verify, a principle that keeps us engaged while still leveraging AI's capabilities. So how do you put this into practice? Here's a quick leadership playbook to make AI work for you without losing what makes you smart. Start with regular AI decision audits. Don't just check what the AI got right, dig into where it went wrong and why. Fact-check the facts. I use tools like Perplexity to validate AI-generated stats, research, and references, especially when the stakes are high. Create clear risk tiers. Full automation might be fine for low-stakes stuff like email sorting or calendar management, but for anything high stakes, like customer service, finance, or HR decisions, keep a human in the loop with clear sign-off protocols. Stress test before rollout. Don't just assume the shiny new tool is fit for purpose. Put it through real-world scenarios first. Invest in digital literacy. Your people need to understand what AI can and can't do and feel confident challenging it. Microsoft research shows that people who trust their own judgment are far more likely to double-check AI outputs. Those who don't, they just nod along. Clarify ownership. Be crystal clear in policies and contracts about who owns the outcome when AI is involved. And finally, track your reliance. Use metrics like time to decision or oversight dashboards to make sure human judgment isn't quietly falling out of the loop. So, where does this leave us? AI in the workplace is a double-edged sword. Treat it as an infallible oracle, and you risk dulling your critical thinking, possibly even finding yourself at the center of a scandal. But leverage its capabilities strategically, maintain your discernment, and it could deliver the most significant productivity enhancement of your professional life. The real answer isn't up to the technology, it's up to us, how we use, question, and control it. We need to design workplaces where AI amplifies what's best about human intelligence. Don't outsource your judgment, your skepticism, or your appetite for asking why. And before we write AI off as the world's worst brain drain device, let's look at what happens when we use it with purpose. There's research out there, OECD, McKinsey, and others, arguing that, when used intentionally, AI is a genuine cognitive force multiplier. When the machine crunches the numbers and drafts the first version, your mind's freed up for the real stuff. Strategy, deep learning, bold ideas, or just better questions. What we're seeing is a shift in what it means to be smart. It's less about remembering facts or setting up massive spreadsheets from scratch, and more about judgment, curating data, interpreting signals, applying ethics. The real win? You don't have to pick between speed and smarts. You get both if you stay in the driver's seat and never hand over the big calls. As AI keeps getting smarter, let's make sure we're designing the future on our terms, using tech as a force for empowerment, not an excuse to switch off. If today's show struck a chord, tell me, have you ever caught yourself blindly trusting an AI tool, or is this one of your big concerns for your team? Ping me at hello@theAIbreakdown.com with your story, and I'll feature the best on a future episode. And while you're here, hit subscribe, give us a rating, or share this episode with a colleague hooked on automating everything.